So the FTC Microsoft thing just wrapped. We're finally got a verdict that basically, no, FTC, you can't do anything else. It is pretty much a done deal. Microsoft will be acquiring Activision Blizzard. I know a lot of people don't like that. I know a lot of people do like this. So what I'll try to do is try to bring my point of view into it and leave it at that, because again, at the end of the day, all I got is my point of view. My point of view is simply I am in favor of Microsoft buying Blizzard. I'm in favor of them cleaning up the mess that Activision is right now when it comes to their staffing and the individuals that are head of the company. Solely I am excited about that. I'm not so excited about what they possibly could do to Activision. I'm not saying that Activision is in the best light for me right now. Like a lot of their practices and things that they do, it's not that great. So my thought would be to not kill the money machine, because basically all they gotta do is leave it as it is and they can have a money machine. But I don't think that's what the value is truly for owning Activision. I think the value is to clean it up and to continue to put to good work that they have been doing over the last 3 to 4 months. Like Diablo's launch, Overwatch was a misstep, but at least they had a decent battle pass, better souls than Apex in my opinion in some ways, but in other places it's not the greatest. I mean, they got rid of the loot boxes and all that stuff, but it's still not the greatest thing. I just want them to continue down the path of the right and not the wrong. I really don't see the value right now when it comes to putting everything in the Game Pass. I mean, there's a lot of old games that we already probably own that we want to play now, and maybe them getting the servers back up on Xbox would be a beneficial thing. But right now, I don't really see that true value yet. I see a lot on this being a mobile and a cloud type of purchase where they want this to be they just want to boast that portfolio. I don't see this a huge play for Xbox in general. And I could be wrong because there are plenty of great games on there, but I don't think they are of the mindset of take those games off of the consoles. I think they're just in a mindset of get it better to be pushed into Game Pass. And that's a big cost to them. That's a huge cost to them. So I just have to see the value in it. And I don't see it yet. I mean, all it does is kind of condition Xbox owners to not buy games if they just feel like they're going to continuously have that, which is fine because at the end of the day, if you're paying $15 to $16 a month, and that's equivalent of 2 games per, or more than 2 games per year, a little bit above 2 games per year, where you may not have bought any games per year. So, I mean, there's some value there, but at the same time, I don't really know if doing any of this or doing any of these things, crunching the numbers, just doesn't make sense. So I agree that they're probably never going to take Call of Duty off of PlayStation. But what I do want this to do, I want this just to elevate and push Sony into revitalizing Killzone, revitalizing any of the Bungie games. Obviously, they're doing Marathon, but that's going to be a multi-platform. So it's just getting Bungie used to competition in areas that they're not used to. They're not used to competition in the shooters, and they're not used to competition when it comes to Western RPGs. Starfield's going to do that for them, and now them owning Activision, obviously it's not going to change that you can't play Call of Duty on PlayStation. It just might not play in the same right, or it just may not be as accessible as it is on the Game Pass or Xbox. But that's not a shift changer for me. It's truly those other games that could be a shift. Right now, Call of Duty is not going to be the shift. And yeah, it's going to be owned by Xbox. They probably going to have better branding for it and all that good jazz. But at the end of the day, Call of Duty is big because it's multi-plat. That doesn't make sense for it not to be. And they have agreed 100 times over that that's not going to be the case. So I don't expect a huge shift yet. What I expect is them to put a fire under Sony. I don't I don't think Sony is in the mood to acquire anybody right now, but they could be. They could start acquiring people too, and it could be get real nasty before it gets great. But my understanding is that this is a third place company that just bought assets that will allow them to gain leverage in the gaming community that they never had before. This is leverage for them. Like no one was checking for anything Microsoft was putting out outside of Halo, Gears, and Forza. This is going to allow them to build upon that portfolio, the games that they already have, the games they have in works, and now Activision Blizzard, a well-known, respected company for making games in the gaming community. So my thoughts is simple. I don't want to drag it on. I think this was a good move for competitiveness. I don't know. I don't foresee the future of whether or not this is going to be a bad deal down the line. It could get a little spooky out here, but right now, what I can tell you is that at least we're not seeing the top player become even further atop. I think the top player is still PlayStation for us highly invested gamers, the casual gamer, the one that's highly invested but also has that casual base, the family base, that's Nintendo. And then Xbox is just a secondary to what the PlayStation has to offer, and that has always been the case. No matter how much people want to scream and shout that they have great things, PlayStation has always been at the top. They are still at the top with this Activision purchase, but what it does is it allows Microsoft to now leverage what they have to make Sony play ball in the right ways. We don't want to see any more Final Fantasy 16s just on the PlayStation. It's just weird for those types of things to continuously happen, and with this leverage, maybe that there is some more transparency around what is going to be happening. And they I think Sony has to double think or triple think about doing these types of things again, because Microsoft has a bag and they can continue to use it to buy out. As things came out in this, the whole acquisition, they were trying to buy Sega, they were trying to buy Bungie, they were Bethesda, they were going nuts because of what Sony was literally doing. And I'm not saying that they weren't just doing this on their own fruition. I'm just saying that it seems as if this is a counteract because they were just trying to grow their portfolio the right way, but they kept getting hit in the head in Japan. And then they decided to just take over the Western market, literally take over the US and buy every company that they could. And it will work to an extent, but we got to see what you do with it too. I don't trust that everything's going to be hunky dory and everything's just going to be work perfectly. But what I can say is at least it gives me hope that this will push the envelope of gaming simply because of the additional competition. I don't think Sony ever found Xbox to be a true threat. This here makes them a threat, and if not a threat, it really would be impactful to their bottom line if certain things were to happen. So I think all this did was buy Microsoft leverage to say, hey, stop with all that noise y'all got going on over there. Stop with the noise, stop with the BS, and stop with the things that make you think we can't really get at you. So they can now, even with a lot of the things that they're partnering with in Japan and things like that. Yeah, it's tough when you can say, oh, you're gonna keep Ghostwire or you're gonna keep Deathloop. We buy Bethesda. Oh, you want to keep doing Call of Duty exclusive things. We're gonna buy Activision. Oh, do you still messing with Square like that? Do it again. So it's kind of like that's all it is to me. I don't really see no difference. And again, because they're third place, I'm not like super angry about it or trying to be negative, because it's not a negative. It's truly just them, because the impact of it being on that part of it, like again the Activision part, is small to me. It's like they bought a bunch of stuff, but that's part to me is small to the gravity of what the leverage will do. So that's about it. I want to thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you as always for listening through, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Peace.